Debbie, thank you. We have Debbie, Tim, and myself, Carla Sherry. I'm acting as our president today because he is on leave. And then online, we have Lencha and Sonia, and I see Dr. Allison has called in. So let me just say, got it. Oh, wait, it's not a touch screen. Hold on a second. Hi, Dr. Allison. Good to see you. So we have a small group today, which we thought might happen because it is the beginning of the holiday season. That often happens. Want to welcome everybody. Jamil, our president, will be coming later, and he will end the meeting with some announcements for the day. But without further ado, do any of our people on the screen want to do a welcome or say anything? Or anybody in the room want to say anything? No? Okay, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our lovely, vivacious Toastmaster of the day, Debbie Turkinger. And we just had, Sheila just came in too. So hi, good to see you. I'm turning it over. Oh, shake hands.
Oh, yes.
Elbows.
Okay.
There we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Toastmasters meeting today, December 19th. And this will be our last meeting for this year. So I believe we'll let you know about our next meeting, which I believe will be January 9th. And we will take a break until that time. So today our theme is holidays, traditions. And it's really looking at old traditions and new traditions. And today, as Toastmaster, I asked Carla to give me a little feedback every time I use a filler word. So if you hear that in the background, just like that, that means I used a filler word, because I feel like that could really help me get better at not using filler words and ands and ohs and somes. So,
If it becomes too disruptive to you,
oh, it won't.
let me know.
It won't.
I see we have a guest who's just called in.
All right. We welcome Allie. And Allie, thank you for joining us today. And we are just starting our meeting. So to talk about our theme, the theme being holiday traditions, it's such an emotional packed theme, in my opinion. And you can tell a lot about the person by the way they handle three different things. One of those things is a rainy day. One is lost luggage. And the third thing is tangled Christmas tree lights. We have some lights here today in our room trying to create a festive atmosphere. And Carla and we had some untangling to do and trying to get it set up so we can relate to that. But rest assured, we handled it well. And we have a few lights in here. I'm not sure if you can see them on the owl, but they are there. But I do think holidays give us an opportunity to reflect and pause and think about the things that are important to us. And I want to ask anyone in our audience, why do you think holiday traditions are important? There's a lot of experts out there that have their opinions and have done studies on this. But what do you all think? And if anyone would just give us your thoughts on that, we would appreciate it.
Hey Tim, I'm Sonia. I will go. I think holiday traditions are important because they anchor us. They remind us of times that are happier or sustaining in terms of food with people. I know for me, it's playing board games with my family. I know I'm in a safe space when we're cheating and having fun and eating red velvet cake because my mother cooks that bakes it, I should say, every Christmas. So I think holidays, traditions anchor us to let us know that we're okay. If you're from a safe space, it's just letting you know you're okay. And no matter what's going on in the world, you're with your team, whether it's the family that you're born in or the family that you created.
Yeah, awesome answer. And I like how you said our team is really just whoever is our family or the people we've taken into our lives. And that's such a great way to put it. And it really does give us a sense of belonging and expressing what we think is important to us.
Ally's hand is up, I believe.
Ally, please, go ahead and share your thoughts. But Ally, you are muted. Ally, can you unmute yourself, please? Okay, well, we'll come back to Ally. Well, the next thing I'd like to do today is, we'll come back and revisit this theme of holidays, traditions, old and new, throughout our meeting. Today, we have a number of people helping us, and today I'm serving as the Toastmaster, as you know, and when I serve as Toastmaster, I always follow our agenda, because that really guides me on the different steps to take as a Toastmaster. So I encourage anyone else to think about taking on this role, because you're just facilitating, and it's fun, and you get a chance to bring everybody into the meeting. Now today our invocation or joke master is Sonia. And Sonia, can you tell us a little bit about that role and why you chose it? And we'll come back to your opening remarks.
Every Toastmasters meeting should start out with a little bit of encouragement or a little laughter or a little thought points in order for us to grow as leaders and communicators. We should always have things in the forefront, and that is what this particular role does. It inspires us, it challenges us, and it gives us a little food for thought, how to move forward as Toastmasters and in our community at large. So thank you for allowing me to share.
Yeah, that's an awesome way to put it. And who doesn't look for inspiration? I think every time we have a meeting, those words of inspiration or thoughtfulness really remind us of why we all come to this meeting every Monday. So great point. And we'll come back to you a little bit later. Carla is going to be our topic master today. And so she's going to tell you a little bit about that role, which is fun and provides a great opportunity.
Thank you for allowing me to tell you about being a topic master. The interesting thing, I love being topic master, is that I come up with creative ideas, but then people who are with us to spontaneously speak about a topic for 1 to 2 minutes. It gives you a chance to practice what you've learned. It gives you a chance to be creative, and it gives us an interesting insight into a little bit about you, whether you're giving us an imaginary answer or an answer that's very specific. So as the topic masters, I will be telling you about a topic, and today it's following our theme about the holidays, and then you're going to have an opportunity to answer. And I have some great ones, so please volunteer so you don't have to be voluntold. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Carla. And our grammarian today is Valencia. Can you tell us about that role, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Today, South Park, I'm serving as your grammarian, and this is an opportunity for me to listen for what we do when we're speaking. Sometimes we have habits like using filler words to make space or to think about our next thought, or we use crutches. Some people call them crutches, some people call them filler words. I like double crutches. I like to use my filler words together. So that's something I've been working on for quite some time. The other thing is, as the grammarian, I will offer us a word of the day. And in line with our theme, our word is scrumptious. I want you to think of all the delightful, tasty, delicious things that make your mouth happy in our meeting today, and use the word scrumptious. I'm going to post this in the chat. Scrumptious definition: extremely tasty, delicious. Example: a scrumptious chocolate tart. I want one. Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you for that scrumptious description of the role of grammarian. Well, we did not have a general evaluator, and I went to Tim, one of our new members, and asked if he would consider doing that. And I gave him a copy of the agenda so he could kind of see how he facilitates that end of our meeting. And Tim, would you like to come up and just say a few words on that role? That'll be brand new to you, and we will help you. He's still smiling.
Thank you. Yes, I just got the sheet in front of me. I'm reading it as we speak in. And I would like some help at the end in case I miss some parts in here. And if I mispronounce anyone's names, I want to apologize up front. Okay. So thank you for that, and I will do my best.
I know you will, and thank you for taking on the role, and we will definitely help you with that general evaluator role that they kind of facilitate the end of the meeting. I always thought it was a fun role because you're really just calling on people to give their reports and evaluate a speech or two, and definitely we will help you. But again, that agenda helps so much to guide all of us as we carry out the meeting. We do have one speech today, and that is Dr. Alice Ann Crump. And Dr. Alice Ann, are you with us?
She dropped off.
did
But if she
drop off.
can't, I'll do a quick pocket one if she can't, so we can have a speech.
Okay. Oh, really? Thank you.
I'll do
All
it.
right. Thank you. And then and then we can go into table topics after that. But Sonia has agreed to do a pocket speech, which is something that it's recommended that we all have a pocket speech in our pocket so that when times like this come up, you just take a chance and you give your speech. So we really thank you, because I don't think I've had many people do a pocket speech. So we all really appreciate you doing that. And I think you've had a cold, so this is even extra special. So, well, Sonia, if you would like to start,
How
and
long will it be?
will you evaluate?
Yeah, I can, but how long will it be this month?
How long will you be?
It's gonna be 5 to 7, and Carla's heard it before, so she requested it many moons ago. So 5 to 7, and you are enough. Yep.
5 to 7 minutes, and
And I'll
We
send you
will-
the. Yeah, that's fine. And we can. Yeah.
do you want an evaluation as well?
She can evaluate it if she likes. If not, you guys can do a round robin. It's up to you guys. I'm
Okay.
flexible.
Maybe we'll do a round robin, which would be kind of fun. And all right, when you are ready, we're ready.
All right, so I'm gonna give you guys the little nugget of the day. Talk about scrumptious. When Valencia said it, I have one of these these little rum cakes that you buy in the Caribbean. Mine is a moonshine cake, so I'm conducting onboarding today, so I may not eat it, but I'm gonna get a little taste of it. So thank you for inspiring me to pull out my moonshine cake. With that said, everybody, it is holiday season. And here's a quote from former First Lady and social justice advocate Eleanor Roosevelt. And she said, "With every new day comes new strengths and new thoughts." Now, why did I pick that today? Shocker. Suicide happens in this country all the time, but we don't spotlight it unless someone significant, such as Stephen Twitch Boss, makes the action and completes it. But I want you to know, in this holiday season, there are many, many people here in our community and around the world, whatever holiday they celebrate, whether it's Ramadan, Hanukkah is the third day of Hanukkah. If you celebrate Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, Christmas or Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate in your household. There are people who don't have anyone to celebrate that with, or they are in toxic relationships, or they're just going through a depression. But I want you to know, if you're that individual, or you know someone that's not connected to anyone, that with every new day comes new strengths and new thoughts. And that we want you to, I saw this on Yvette Nicole Brown said, #please stay. So with that said, I want to give you guys some statistics about how powerful it is for us to be thinking about suicide, not just suicide, but self-harm, whether you're cutting yourself or burning yourself. suicide ideation where you're thinking about suicide or you're actually attempting suicide and didn't complete it. I want you guys to know, as a family, we need to be mindful of those in our community. The American Foundation of Suicide Prevention said 130 suicides happen per day. The CDC says one death by suicide happens every 11 minutes. 12.2 million people think about it, suicide ideation. 3.2 million actually make a plan. And 1.12 actually attempt it. It didn't complete it. And I have to tell you, I'm gonna be vulnerable and disclose it. Thank God, I don't know. I learned how to swallow pills late in life because I was one of the kids that had to crush my pills. Because if I did as a teenager, work in the suicide hotline, you guys wouldn't know me today. Oftentimes, it's the people who are smiling are the ones who are suffering. So take the time to check on people. Even people you don't like. Sometimes we have to love people when they least expect it, when they least deserve it. Check on people because you never know. You may be the person to say, how are you doing? And that can open a conversation. Doesn't mean you have to sit there and be the counsel of the day. Absolutely not. If someone says something to you, give them the information. They can call 988. They can text 988. They can also text 741-741. You can even chat on the computer. If someone is reaching out for help, you can put them in the right direction. But sometimes if you just want to sit with someone who's having a rough day, it's okay. It's also okay to ask them if you feel like they're on the verge of something. Are you going to harm yourself? That doesn't make people think about suicide. It's a question that you can ask, and it's a question that you can triage to help get them the help that they need. So with that said, I want you all to remember, with every new day, there comes new strengths and thoughts. And I want you to ruminate on that because we love you and we want you to stay. # please stay. So with that, thank you so much. And I will pause and I guess I'll reset for my speech. Is that how we're going to do it? Okay.
You are at 4 minutes.
That was actually the thought of the day.
Okay. I love it.
That was the thought of the day. But it's okay.
Okay.
If you want me to.
Awesome. Thank you.
No worries.
That's,
A lot to think about.
it was a lot to think about.
Wow.
All right, so that was our thought of the day, which spoke volumes and gave all of us things to think about. I loved what you said about reaching out to people, even people that you might not be close to or people you don't even like. So excellent, and thank you. Now, do you still have a pocket speech or
Yes, whenever you're
you
ready
do
for
have a
that.
pocket speech?
I do,
Okay.
I do.
All right. Well, Jamil has joined us today, so we welcome him and we're so happy to see him in person. And he gets to there's chocolate here for you.
Hey,
If you're interested.
thank you.
All right. We are going to move on to our pocket speech. I think Dr. Crump has not rejoined us. So Sonia, we are going to move on to our pocket speech. And this one will be 5 to 7 minutes.
Yes.
All right. And again, we thank you so much for doing this for us today. And when you are ready, we will go to your pocket speech.
Fantastic. Family, this is entitled You Are Enough and You're Important. And this is a shout out to all the women caregivers out there, even men, if you can resonate with this. So here we go. My fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, and any honored guest in the room, I want you to know that you are enough and that you are important. But I want you to truly embrace that fact. And I mean fact, because you need to know it's true. But in order to embrace that fact, you need to be mindful of the person you see in the mirror and those who you allow to share its frame. What do I mean by that? The famous designer and parfumier, Coco Chanel, said this: an interior is a natural projection of the soul. Now that's deep, but I want to take it just a little step further. Who you allow in your mirror is a reflection of your verdict on your worth. Your worth as a daughter, a sibling, a girlfriend, a fiance, a wife, a friend, an auntie, and even a Gigi. But I would not be a true Southern great-granddaughter of marching deacons and deaconesses if I didn't tell you that a verdict can be overturned if you would just submit an appeal. Everyone deserves a lifeline and a reassessment. Even if you have been categorized as that strong, resilient one, or that quiet, long-suffering family blessing, you deserve to file an appeal. Why? Because your life literally depends on it. So let's talk a little bit of facts. The Family Caregiver Alliance found that 66% of caregivers in this country are women. Those roles look like being hands-on care providers, people who are managing household affairs, being companions or surrogate decision makers or advocates for family, friends, and even neighbors. But this unpaid care, family, it is valued at $188 billion. And the people who take on these roles, the majority women, 33% of them decrease paid working hours to accomplish it. 29% of them pass up promotions and stretch assignments and trainings to elevate their career. 22% of them take a leave of absence, and 13% they retire early. And if you looked at the statistics of women who were family caregivers, these women are likely to 2.5 times to live in poverty. But we're going to go one step further. The Department of Human Services has an office called the Office on Women's Health. They found that women are a higher risk of health problems due to the stresses of caregiving. And what do we mean by the stresses of caregiving? That means you're less likely to get your own regular health screenings. You're less likely to get sleep, and you're less likely to be physically active. And that stress that comes on from caregiving, feeling overwhelmed, feeling isolated, and feeling sad and depressed. And we know that has staggering health ramifications, like higher risk of chronic diseases when you're not sleeping, when you're depressed. You're likely to have heart disease, cancer, diabetes, arthritis. In this country, 1 out of 5 women have experienced a mental health problem and results of a mood disorder or an anxiety disorder. Stress caregivers have weakened immune system. That means your vaccines are not as effective. Your recovery times from a setback is longer. And stress causes obesity. Women are likely to be more obese if they're caregivers. And we know, again, heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Women also suffer from short-term memory or they have struggles paying attention. Why? Because they're so focused on the needs of others. Again, your life depends on your appeal if you are overwhelmed by the images that are in your mirror. So how do you file that appeal? First and foremost, know what you can control and what you cannot control. Family members are not always meant to be in the front row of your life. Learn how to take better care of the people that you are charged to take care of. Stay in your lane. Maybe you need to take a class, or maybe you need to punt it to a professional. But stay in control and stay in your comfort zone. Get organized. Don't let people alter your routine. Stay in control. And when people ask if you need help, accept it. Respite care can be amazing. Maybe you need to go to the grocery store. Someone needs to go to the grocery store for you. Maybe you need to go to the bookstore, the park, a salon. Find out what's your favorite respite. What's your favorite reset? Stay connected. There are other people in this country dealing with the same issues you're dealing with. Get in a proactive group. And also take time for yourself. And be patient with yourself. And be honest with your doctors and your family and your friends. And if they're impatient with you, give them a pink slip. Now, it seems like a lot, but baby steps are okay. Rome wasn't built in the day, and I'm from the great state of Alabama. Slow cooked collard greens take time. Just try one and just build. But why is that important? To build on those successes, to build on that SOS that you're sending out to your family members and your friends, because you're enough and you're important. Now be ready for the shock and awe of those people that are in your mirror, especially those who cannot fathom that you would take time for yourself. But the good book says that Jesus wept. And if it's good enough for Jesus, it's good enough for them. Why? Because studies show that tears release endorphins and they release stress. In fact, I want you to cry with them if you need to. But you need to be ready to affirm to those individuals in the mirror, whether they're supportive or not, that you need boundaries. Dr. Brene Brown said it best. She says, clear is kind and unclear is unkind. Set your boundaries with those in your mirror. Set time boundaries. When you need to show up, when you say you're going to show up. Conversational boundaries. We're not going to talk about that. I'm not comfortable with that. Space boundaries. Stay out of my space. You are making me uncomfortable. It's okay to control the spaces that the images take up in your mirror. My fellow Toastmasters and guests, life is important. Your life is important. So what life do you want to live? Do you want to live a life of abundance or a life of despair? Trust me when I tell you this, a life of service is never diminished by someone's life's purpose. The statistics are very clear. You can't always control who is in your mirror, but you can fight for your preservation, because if you don't, you will perish. So do me a favor. Don't break your mirror. That mirror you have, it's not an albatross. Everyone is deserving of a reset. We talked about that before. So I want you to take stock of those in your mirror. Do they stand up for you in your hardest times? Is they mutual beneficial or is it draining? And one day, think, will they stand up for me and be my caregiver if an unfortunate opportunity arose? If you can answer those questions in the affirmative, keep them. Everyone deserves a reset, and we don't throw away relationships on a whim. But trust me when I tell you this, everyone deserves an opportunity until they don't. So don't break your mirror, just get them out of the way. So with that, I want you to know that being a caregiver is an honorable profession. It shows how you love people in their most vulnerable states. But I don't want you to get lost in nourishing other people's stories, because if you do that, you surrender the power and ending of your own story. With that said, times may be hard, but I want you to know that you are enough and that you are important, not just because of who you are, but because we love you and we see you and we appreciate you. Thank you, my fellow Toastmasters.
Wow. That's quite a pocket speech, wasn't it?
Yes, for sure.
You had me drawn in when you said you are enough. And I thought that is such a strong message for absolutely everybody. And makes me think of holidays and how great it must be to be around you during the holidays, actually. You just are such a force. And you show that for us every time that you're with us every Monday. So thank you so much. With that, well, I believe that, I think that Jamil was doing some evaluation notes, were you? We were gonna do round robin, so we'll do round robin when we get to the general evaluation part, and that way everybody can make some comments. So that was our plan, and we'll just stick with that plan. And now we're gonna go to table topics, and Carla is going to take us through table topics and explain what they are, and we're gonna have a good time with table topics. Oh, yes.
For the people who are new here, when you change places, the DS or the virtual DS, you're supposed to shake hands, but we're doing shaking elbows. So I just want to say I am truly inspired, Sonia. This second time at least I've heard that. I just want to listen to it every night, because when I am a caregiver jointly with my siblings for my mother, But we do caregiving in so many different ways. I just was so inspired. I can only say. With that in mind, today, we are now going to, at this moment, go to table topics. And as you know, table topics is when we get to speak spontaneously for 1 minute to 2 minutes. Since I have a clock up here, I will, if you want, Debbie, if you don't want to time since I have this, I'm happy to, if someone, do you want to do the timing?
Whatever works for you.
Then why don't you do it?
Okay.
A little bit spontaneous things happening. With that in mind, I have great table topics for today. I need a volunteer for my very first one.
I can do one.
Jamil, great, come on up here. So in the theme of the holidays, I'm going to give you an elbow. There you go. I'm going to give you a choice of 11 countries, and you pick that country, and then I'll tell you what you're gonna do. Here's your choices: Germany, Mexico, Japan, Norway, Italy, Wales, Guatemala, Australia, Venezuela, Ukraine, and Catalonia.
I've heard of most of them. I'm gonna go with Mexico.
Mexico, all right. So there are a lot of interesting and different holiday traditions at this time of year, and I'm gonna tell you about one. I'm gonna ask you a question, and then whether you know anything about it or not, that is your topic for your table topic. So Mexico has the Night of the Radishes. Raise your hand if you've heard of it. I didn't think so. I hadn't heard of it till I went researching this too. La Noches de Rabinos, and I am taking Duolingo, so that's the best I can do there. The Night of the Radishes is a festival in which merchants and artisans sell radishes that have been intricately carved in nativity scenes, local wildlife scenes, etc. I want you to tell us about your radish carvings.
There's
Take
that.
it away.
There's that. I'll raise this up a little bit. There we go.
That would be 5-4 to like 6,
There we go.
5.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Night of the Radishes, eh? Well, part of what I like to do with my radishes, which I don't do very often, this is very fictitious, but y'all don't know that until I just told you. What I like to do with my radishes is to look at them. I don't eat them. I don't like to smell them. They are not something that I prefer to even bother with, but in the sense of the holiday spirit, you know, I'm flexible. I do a couple things differently. I'm a little bit more open, and since it's in the country of Mexico, some of the team members that work with me are of Hispanic persuasion, and they've been teaching me Poquito Español. And you may have heard Feliz Navidad, which means Feliz is happy or merry. Navidad is Christmas, I believe. I know Feliz is happy, and they tell us Navidad is Christmas. So Feliz Navidad. There's another part that says, wait, años is years. I can't remember the Happy New Year. Well, Feliz New Year. So back to radishes. Yeah, so what I do, I would give them some radishes for Christmas and say Feliz Radioso, or however you just said that. That's probably what I would do, and being flexible with my radish celebration during the holidays.
Thank you very
Madam
much.
Table Topics Master.
I will be very happy to come to your house for La Noches de Rabinos.
There you go.
That was great. That was fun. I had never heard of that holiday. I like to slice my radishes and eat them. Where's my next volunteer? Tim, yay, another one in the audience, and then we'll pick someone from our Hello, yay. I'm going to repeat the question. I'm going to repeat the countries. I'm going to skip Mexico. We've done it. Germany, Japan, Norway, Italy, Wales, Guatemala, Australia, Venezuela, Ukraine, and Catalonia.
Japan.
Japan. Oh, this is so interesting because I've never heard of this, but Debbie has heard of it. She told me. So the tradition in Japan, believe it or not, in the United States, we associate Christmas with ham and turkey and certain puddings and candy canes. In Japan, it's all about Kentucky Fried Chicken. An estimated 3.5 million Japanese pre-order Kentucky Fried Chicken for Christmas Eve, because Christmas is not a big holiday there. Tell us about the last time or the next time you're going to order Kentucky Fried Chicken or some meal for the holidays.
Thank you for that question. Kentucky Fried Chicken, to me, I eat there quite a bit on the road. I like the chicken pot pie. It's my favorite. Chicken, I get the white meat, the breast. But I gotta veer off when you go into Japan and holiday season. I had the opportunity to spend 3 weeks in Japan. My sister's a teacher. She taught English, her and her husband, for 10 years in Japan. So I went over there right during the holidays. I was there for Christmas and for New Year's. Dinner over there, we had a very special time because when I first got there, my sister took us out to areas of Japan. They lived 150 miles north of Tokyo, where, yes, I was the only Caucasian, and I understand I get into a lot of things with that. But to come back to the story, why I say this about traditions and eating, besides Kentucky Fried Chicken, I'm going to try to get this in really quick, is we were eating all this type of fish stuff, and I didn't like fish. So I went to the supermarket with my brother-in-law, and we were gonna get steaks. So I went to get the steaks, and we went, there's all red meat. And I go, there's the best piece right there, we get it. By then I knew conscience, I knew what the price was. It was $28 a pound for this red meat. We get back to my sister's place. She cooks up more like a stew instead of like, on the grill. Unfortunately, after I'm eating there like crazy and everyone else is away from the table, I had 3 helpings. They're going to clean up the tables and everything. And my sister said to my brother-in-law, hey, Dave, what's that concha sand there? And he goes, horse meat. Well, it's the best meal I ever had in my life for $28 a pound. So they come back with Kentucky Fried Chicken. I will eat that too. We went down to Tokyo for New Year's Eve, and we did a big celebration. We were right by all the fast food joints in Tokyo where we stayed. Next time I go there, I will eat a Kentucky Fried Chicken down there.
Good one.
Thank you for the question.
All right.
But off camera, off the topic, they have another tradition there on New Year's. We take all our things that we have, like our cards, anything you get during the year, someone gives you gifts, cards. Well, what they do on New Year's Eve, they go to this big area right in the center of Tokyo. They got this big bonfire, huge bonfire, and they burn all them gifts and postcards or whatever they got, letters. It's supposed to take the evil away. They do that every year. It's pretty neat seeing it. The whole, basically Tokyo coming into one center and doing this. So I
That's
get
neat.
Thank
See
you,
that too.
thank you. Learning
Like
a
that.
lot about Japan that I didn't expect us to be learning. All right, so I'm now looking for an online volunteer. Mila, you look like you're ready. You ready? You'd like to volunteer?
I think she's muted.
I don't think she heard.
I pronounced it right? Tahila? Did I do that right?
Yes,
Oh, good. Would you like to volunteer? You look like you'd like to volunteer.
sure. Why not?
Yeah, 9 countries remaining. Germany, Norway, Italy, Wales, Guatemala, Australia, Venezuela, Ukraine, and Catalonia.
Let's go with Italy.
Italy, oh, I like the Italy one. I remember that. All right. Well, in Italy, their tradition is the gift-giving witch. That is the ugly version of Santa Claus. He's a kind but ugly old witch. And there's a story about that whole thing. But she's invited to come to a journey with Jesus, but she says she has too much housework to do. So after that whole group leaves, she changed her mind and she tried to find them, but she couldn't. So now she flies around all night on January 5th, which is the eve of the Epiphany, and she gives out gifts to apologize for not going with them. So that's what happens. So tell us about where you would fly to and where you would give gifts and who you would give them to.
I think I would fly
all over the world as much as possible. And I would look to give gifts to folks who have never received a gift. It's interesting to me to hear sometimes when people will say, I've never had a birthday party, or I've never had someone, do something kind for me as a surprise. And so for me, I would want to bring that little bit of magic to people who have never experienced it. So that would be where I would go. And in terms of the gifts that I would bring, I would want to include something scrumptious to help them remember that experience. And ideally, if they were to encounter that scrumptious food again, they would always remember that time that they got a gift from a random witch flying in on a broom on January 5th. And so I would want to go to as many places as possible to provide joy and happiness and gifts and scrumptious food to folks who haven't had that experience.
Amazed these wonderful answers that people come up with, because I sit there and I think about, well, I wouldn't have even gotten there, but that's so kind-hearted of you to think of that. And it did make it a little bit hungry for some scrumptious food myself, but I've always had enough abundance. I've been hungry before out of choice, but I've never been hungry because there was no food. So it's very kind of you to think of that, and I'm really touched. Do I have time for one more, Ms. Toastmaster?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so do I have one more volunteer, either online or in the room? Sonia or Valencia or Debbie? Who's my volunteer?
I'll take it if you want me to.
Okay,
Sure.
great.
I like
All
travel.
right.
I got a new passport.
You got a passport?
I got a new
Great.
one. Yep.
All right, so we're ready to, I know I'm supposed to look at this. We're ready to do it. So your countries that are left are Norway, Wales, Guatemala, Australia, Venezuela, Ukraine, Catalonia, and did we do Germany yet? Yes, we did.
I want to go to Australia.
Australia, all right. Let's.
It's a long flight, but I'm ready.
All right. Here's your trip to Australia. In the southern hemisphere, the winter holidays fall in the summer, and Australia's temperatures at that time are 84 degrees, so not a bad place to go. So naturally, many Australians head to the beach, often surfing. Santa will make an appearance on a surfboard, and a couple of beaches are known to be a hotspot for foreign travelers and backpackers. So my question to you is, if you went to Australia, what holiday outfit would you wear to go on the beach? And if you don't already surf, who would you pick to teach you to surf in your holiday outfit?
Thank you. That is a great question. I want to go to Australia because I'm a Hillsonger. No talking about Hillsong. What would I wear on the beach? Now I'm a big girl, but there's something called swimsuits for you, and we look good. I have a two-piece, yes, a big girl with a two-piece and a nice cover up. So it will be like I don't know, it's just like felt. My cover up would look like this, but honey, I'm a fabulous big girl, so it'll be a little see-through. Because you need to see my two-piece outfit. Now, who is going to teach me how to surf? Idris Elba. He left his wife in England, and he came to teach me how to surf because she needs a break. She needs a break, and I need a respite. So he's going to teach me how to surf. And my two-piece, that's kind of Santa Claus-ish, but a little see-through, not too much because he's a married man. We're just friends. We are just friends. That would teach me how to surf. And we would give holiday cheer because people will laugh because I don't know how to swim. But I now have an afro and not a perm, so I can get my hair wet. So we'll have lots of fun. And that would be my holiday, me and Idris in Australia.
I would like to join you. I just saw him in the movie where he played.
Ma'am, that's me and Idris time. You come when he leaves. You go when he leaves. I'm teasing. Yes.
And I'll show your bathing suit in your external.
You can go.
That sounded like a great time. I'm going to thank everybody for your wonderful answers. I hope you enjoyed the good time that we just had with the table topics, and I'm going to turn this back over to my Toastmaster. As I go, I'm going to grab one of these scrumptious, for those of you who are being virtual, these little scrumptious Hershey Kisses that have been provided to us. If you can have them virtually, I'm going to have one with my coffee in the back. Thank you.
Carla, thanks for those great questions. And you really had us all involved in a really unique way with the different countries. So we kind of went on a trip around the world and then also thought about holidays as well. So with that, we've had our pocket speech by Sonia. We've had table topics. We had our opening remarks by Sonia as well, which was all amazing. And now we're going to go to our general evaluation. And Tim has graciously agreed to be our general evaluator. I have no doubt he is going to knock it out of the park, just because we can tell. And we thank you for doing it.
Come on
Kind of on the
down.
spur, so
All right.
welcome. and
See
thank
what
you. We'll help if you need it.
Oh,
Please. All right. So my role today is to, first of all, call on the timers report. If I could ask you to give your report, please, Debbie.
Yes, would love to. I'll come back up here. All right. Carla and I have often said timer report. Timer was our least favorite role, but I was like you today where I just jumped into it. And I used the low-tech method that we have here in our library suitcase. So I want to report that Sonia spoke for 9 minutes and 15 seconds. It was in her 5 to 7 minute zone, but she went a little bit over. And we're glad you did, honestly. The message was so good that I'm like, keep going. We would have listened for a long time. Jamil with table topics was 1 minute, 38 seconds as he talked about radishes. Then Tim was 2 minutes and 12 seconds as he took us to Japan and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Sahila was at 1 minute and, I'm sorry, 1 minute and 9 seconds for hers. And then Sonia for her table topic was 1 minute, 11 seconds. So everybody spoke and really met their minimum requirement. And it was awesome how everybody did that. So thank you. That was my report.
Now I'd like to turn it over to get our Graham Marion report.
Yes. Grammarian report today. I'm so very excited to give because of our word of the day. First, I'd like to tell you about our non-tasty words that we used as fillers and crutches today. I heard some ums and so's and extra ands, and then the double crutches. Y'all were after my heart with the you knows and thens. And so was another one. But we use the word of the day often throughout our meeting. That was lovely. I heard it from Debbie, Sonia, Tahila, a 3-timer, Carla, a 3-timer with our word of the day. We had some delicious and scrumptious words that were shared in this meeting. I heard rum cake, which, ooh, Lord have mercy. Sonia used the phrase, you are enough. She used the word ruminate. She used the word, where's the other one that I wrote down? Respite. I love that. She used the scrumptious, delightful image, Idris Elba. And one takeaway from her speech was verdict on your worth. I wrote that down as well. In our table topics today, we heard about various things, but Tim, you got me when you said horse meat lord. I don't know that I think that's scrumptious, but you said it was. So I have to take your word for it, like LeVar Burton. Thank you very much. That's my grammarian report.
And to give you a general impression of the entire meeting, I first of all have to say thank you to Sonia for stepping up to the plate, as I would call when Dr. Alice Ann Crump signed off, you were so helpful to fill that spot with no hesitation. So I thought that was very fantastic of your involvement there. As well, at the same time, the thought of the day, because to me, it is very important with the mental health at this time of the year, the holidays. I ask everyone to always look out, like you said, because it happens very, very, too often to even close friends that you don't expect. So keep eye for it. It will happen if we don't, ask questions and lead them to the right, people that get help. How can we improve next holiday season, Christmas time, New Year's, Hanukkah? We bring a little festival food for lunch.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe some more horse meat.
Yeah.
I'm telling you about that horse meat. It was fantastic. I'm actually going to Wisconsin on Wednesday for a week. And I'll be with my sister and my dad and my brother-in-law. And that story always comes up every holiday. So it was a great trip over there. I'll never forget that day. Besides that, I
We
think,
would like to do an evaluation, if we can, of Sonia's, an actual.
Round
We're
robin.
gonna do a round robin.
Okay.
evaluation of Sonia's speech.
all right, so
I'll start out with the round robin. Sonia, great speech and just the attention grabber. That's one of the things that we learned in Toastmasters, and starting out with "you are enough." Many of us have heard that phrase a lot of times, but it's one that you can say it and say it and say it forever, because when you hear it, you could be in a different season of life, you could be in a different state of mind, and it's one of those timeless sayings, "you are enough." So starting out with that was a great attention grabber. And also you went on to expound and explain how people need to start to view themselves and also view other people in other situations. So I just thought, great job with the attention grabber, and also expounding on validating how people should be viewed and how we need to take time to see other people. So great job with that. That's my evaluation.
And what I would like to add to that is, can you hear me on screen, because I'm in the back? Okay, I wanted to say that there were a couple of things that stuck out just to me. First of all, you bookended it. You start out, "you are enough, you are important," you had it in the middle, and you had it at the end. So you repeated that message. The second thing is, you gave us facts. So you didn't just say you're enough. You talked about the facts of caregivers and what happens when caregivers are who are under a lot of stress. So you validated that whole point. You had a couple really interesting expressions, and one of them, which I have not heard before, was "baby steps are okay." And you went on to tell your great integrated stories about how slow cooked collard greens take time and they're good. And so it wasn't just the baby steps are important, but you made it very relatable. And I like how you did that. You repeated that have patience for yourself. And you had another thing, which is clear is kind, unclear is unkind. I had never thought about that, so I thought that was very effective. I loved your ending. Being a caregiver is an honorable profession. Again, you repeated, "you are enough, you are important." I can really relate to this. As I said, I am a co-caregiver for my mother. I've been a caregiver for my father. It is exhausting. I did not really know these statistics, but I can definitely relate to the whole story. I just felt that this is a speech you should give over and over, and I want to just go back to your other speech on suicide. My sister just wrote us this week that a 30-year-old woman, the woman who hired her into her job, committed suicide. She said she was with her October 28th, had absolutely no idea. This beautiful, vivacious 30-year-old. I had the trifecta. Church was the third one I've heard of in the past week that committed suicide. It is such an important topic, and we just don't know who in this room, that we are encountering tomorrow, who we encountered yesterday, who's going to do it. that inspiration. Very touched by that.
Debbie?
I was timing, so I was preoccupied, but I just know every time you speak, Sonia, it just, for me, when you speak, it comes from your soul. And I think that is an amazing gift of communication that you demonstrate and that we all strive for. So that's what I'd like to say. Thank you.
Go ahead. Valencia?
Oh, thank you. I didn't know if I could go, but I wanted to share, Sonia, that one, I'm so thankful and grateful for your message today. Both messages really in your invocation or your thought of the day and your speech. I'm so glad that this was recorded because I have to fully disclose that I plan on sharing this with people who I know need to hear it. I think that just the statistics that you shared, I mean, even just in sharing the statistics, it's like, whoa, it makes us sit up and take notice of how these things affect you. No one asks if you're okay. It was on a show I was watching recently, and it's so interesting to be that person for yourself. The mirror image that you kept putting through your whole speech of who's in it, what does it look like? And the fact that we can change what we're looking at. We don't have to break it. I just love all the imagery and everything really spoke to me. And I was so impressed that I was thinking during the time, I was like, she's gonna do this in 5 to 7 minutes. Lord have mercy, like this is powerful. I don't know how she's gonna do this it needed to be a 10-minute speech. It really did, because the message that you're delivering is so important from beginning to end. So I just appreciated the whole thing. I'm glad you went over. Thank you, love, for that. And I'm sharing it after we get it uploaded on YouTube. So thank you.
I actually think it's a powerful enough speech to be great for a speech contest for sure. If you haven't already thought about doing that as a speech contest speech, I think it is definitely one to consider.
Tahira?
Sorry, I'm so used to using the mouse on my Mac and it's stuck, so I can't click on it. So then I remember that I have to use this external mouse that I had to buy. So without adding to, I just heard myself say, without adding to things that have already been said, I do want to say that as a new member, I appreciate having the opportunity, Sonia, to listen, to hear you and to start learning from your technique. I also wrote down clear is kind and unclear is unkind. And I also liked, it's not an exact quote, but you said something to the effect of, it's possible for people to change and everyone deserves an opportunity until they don't. And that really resonated with me, that you approach things with an open mind and in assuming the best in other people until they've given you that sign or until they've shown you otherwise. So really going into situations and assuming the best and giving everyone an opportunity until they prove to be, or unless they prove to be unworthy.
Okay. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you so much. Yay.
That was done.
We had a new general evaluator today who did an awesome job. So thank you so much. And I know we're about out of time, but I want to add just a couple things to have us conclude the meeting and think about things as we go forward. It's not a bad time to set up new traditions in our lives. Sometimes we think back and it makes us nostalgic and things change in our lives and our family. So it's not a bad time to start a new tradition. A couple that I learned about as I was getting ready for today. One was, right at this time of the year, write a letter to yourself of where you want to be in 1 year and write it down. Be specific about what you want to be in a year, and then come back in a year's time and see what your letter to yourself sounded like. I thought that was cool. A lot of people, along with that theme of reaching out to others, they have like parties for strays. A lot of people don't have family in the area, so they have they call it a stray party or an orphan party, and they just include their family, but they include people not in their family, just from the community as a way to involve people. Another thing that I am trying with my nephew's family is I gave them a gift card, and the assignment was to give everybody a little bit of money, and they're like 9 and 10 years old and, 2 adults. So I said, give everybody a little bit of money and then have them decide how they could best use that $25, $30, whatever it is, to help someone else. And it fits with our theme of not thinking of ourselves, but really thinking of others. One last thing that I read was to pray for others at this time of the year. And it might not be traditional prayers. It might be just that wish of well-being to others. We all know what that feels like, to root for somebody. And then do one thing every day for the community, for your neighborhood, for humanity, for the world, however you want to look at it. But those 2 things I thought were great ways to try to get back to the meaning of holidays and Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all those ways that different people celebrate. So I thank you all, and we'll see everyone January 9th, same place, same time. And again, have a great holiday, and thank you for your participation today, and it was awesome, so thank you.
No, let me celebrate it.
Was that-
I would like to say for those of you on the phone who didn't hear, Debbie wanted me to click this each time she did a so and or whatever. That's why you may be hearing a noise in the background, but that's what that was for.
Ah,
And that's
We
optional.
normally do not do this, but there was a request. I found it, I think it'd be really hard to do because every time I heard it, I was stopping to think myself.
It didn't feel that way, but it didn't feel that way.
Did it help?
But I heard it and I thought, okay, and then it kind of brought me back to, no fillers. So if anybody ever wants to do that, I will bring it. I guess it has to be, no, I'll just have it here. And if anyone wants that feedback, we'd be happy to offer it, but it's not mandatory, so.
Happy holidays.
Yep.
Good health.
Bye.
See everything
See you in 2023.
Sonia, is other groups done, or do they have one more? Is She Speaks Cheese leads next month, or is there any more? It should be on the 24th, but I suspect they're not having it. I don't know.
Good question. I don't know, and I should know that. I will find out and I'll email you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Yep. Bye, fam. Happy New Year.
Bye all.
Debbie, I got, do kindness per day, you gave money to people to guess, write a letter about where you want to be.
Oh, okay.
What was the